How my journey began. It's graduation time. Family is very important to me, including my puppies. The Marine Corps played a huge role in my life and allowed me to be ambitious, inspiring, a mentor, and achieve all of my goals. As a financial expert, I've received multiple awards, done various events as a guest speaker all over the U.S. with my platform of creating healthy financial habits, along with having my own business, all leading up to my show. Come along for the journey.
Hello, Gems, and welcome. As you know, for the month of January, we are continuing with the theme of New Year, New You. Let's do our best to stay on track concerning our mind, body, finance, and renovation of our business. For our third and lucky Trey episode, we'll be discussing finance and real estate. Before I introduce you to our guest, let's go over a few financial statistics. Around 3.5 billion adults globally, mostly in developing countries, lack an understanding of basic financial concepts. 1 out of every 5 adults cannot read and or comprehend a bank statement. The number one cause of mortgage foreclosure is death of a family member, especially someone who used to be the primary breadwinner. You're now going from 1 income down to 2 or sometimes down to none. The second cause of mortgage foreclosure is divorce. Now, you may have won the house in divorce, but often that doesn't mean that you can take care of it. Sometimes, just like with the first one, you're going from 2 incomes down to 1 or down to 0. And this can also lead to foreclosures. Another cause of mortgage foreclosures is denial due to financial stress. We've been seeing that a lot with the pandemic and with COVID-19. You find yourself unable to keep up with rising interest rates. Due to loss or reduction in income, you are unable to keep up with the required financial lifestyle it takes to maintain your monthly mortgage payments, thus falling into a mortgage foreclosure. Now, to introduce you to today's guest, we have a lucky one for you today. Buckle up, because he has a lot going on for him. He is a Marine veteran who achieved the rank of first sergeant with over 20 years of honorable service before retiring in 2018. Here we go, guys. This real estate is going to set you off, okay? Honors and achievements in real estate include 2018 100% Club Remax Agent, 2018 Top Sales Associate of the Year for Remax and Liberty, 2019 Top Sales Associate of the Year, again for Remax and Liberty. You get the theme here, it's top. Highest gross commission income for 2018 and 2019, highest sales volume for 2018 and 2019, highest closed units. Let me stop there, because everyone can open a sale, but not a lot of people can close them. So highest closed units for 2018 and 2019, top 1% of realtors in California. Let me say that again, because I want y'all to understand the depth of this. Top 1% of realtors in California, top 1% of realtors in the entire USA. I don't know if y'all know anybody like that, but I do, and you will just hear in a minute. He is the CEO and owner of the Warriors Group, CEO, owner, and founder of Watkins Capital. He's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and currently resides in Temecula, California. He is licensed in the state of California, but he's able to provide guidance and advice to people nationwide. Now, you guys, I have brought you the best, so let me introduce you to him. His name is Maurice Watkins. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Hey,
how are you?
I am good. How are you?
I am well. That is a lot of number ones.
Yeah, I appreciate the introduction.
Yeah, right. I had to sit back and be like, well, let me buckle up too, because this is awesome. But we're going to get right down to it, because I know you have so much energy to give to our gems. And first, because again, you don't get to be the top realtor if you don't know how to sell. Can you kind of walk us through the process of kind of telling someone new on how to properly sell?
Well, I tell people all the time, just be yourself. You can't be anybody else when it comes down to sales. I mean, you can take some things from other people, and that's great to take things from people, but just try to be yourself. And one of the things that has made me the most successful is just being genuine and honest. So a lot of people that I
Right.
work with, that's one of the first things they're gonna say is, "Man, he's a very genuine, honest guy." So that's work for me. That's my number one characteristic.
No, I love it. And just knowing the market, and I know you obviously have to be very good in knowing your market and researching a little bit of that for the real estate. Can you just kind of touch on how that kind of works and how you've been able to kind of piece it all together to be successful?
Yeah. I keep my finger on the market. I keep my eyes on the market, and I work with a lot of veterans.
There we go.
And I teach and educate a lot of veterans on things like this on the home ownership process. And one of the things that I do, Joel, is I always run a comparative market analysis. So whenever my clients are looking at homes, I run an analysis on the rent in the area, because many of my guys are leaving, going to other places 3 to 5 years from now. So I want them to know how much rent they're going to get out of the property if they choose to rent it out. And I also want them to know how much the properties are, the guy next door, what they sold their house for, to make sure we get in a fair shake.
Absolutely. Getting a fair shake is what everybody wants. Everyone wants to know to make sure that they're getting the best out of the deal. And that's what it sounds like you do. I want to hit on one of the things that you said is making sure that when people move, they're still getting a good price. Because when you're working with a lot of veterans or just anyone who find ourselves moving around a lot, you want to know, well, if I move, am I going to lose or am I going to gain? And by you doing that market analysis, you're really keeping up with, hey, no, I got you. But you're also giving them the blunt advice. If you move now, this is what you're going to get. That's where that honesty comes into play. Because sometimes right now may not be the best time to move, but who knows? Maybe summertime is a little bit different than wintertime when it comes to the market. So being able to provide them with that expert knowledge is often very key. So kudos for that. So how to think and having an awareness when it comes to all of this? Like, how do you input that into your process as well?
How do I input with the comparisons or the rentals or?
Just having a good mental healthy mindset.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I know a lot of people might think that it's funny. I actually meditate. I'm actually in my meditation room now. I meditate. I make sure that I eat healthy. I try to hit the gym at least 3 or 4 times a week to just kind of keep my head together, because in sales, it can get very overwhelming.
Yes.
A lot of the times we make this look easy, but it's not easy. So you really have to have a healthy mindset in your approach and really understand what right looks like. So I do a lot of reading as well. And again, just, hitting the gym, running, just finding some time to get some clarity. And also, I say once every 2 or 3 months, I take a quick 4 to 7 day vacation, and I go somewhere just kind of keep my head together.
Right. Just that regeneration. Everyone needs that. You got to hit the reset button every now and again, or it's like you said, especially in sales, you'll burn out easy. You will burn out. And just to touch on that healthy mental mindset, sometimes I know, especially in sales, because we both do it, it's easy to be optimist because everyone wants that. But sometimes you're like, I don't know. I don't like it. I just don't like it. But being able to get outside of your own mind and just say, okay, I'm going to bring a healthy mindset, because your customers can feel that from you. If you go into a house and you're like, I don't know, maybe they really liked it, but like, well, maybe if Maurice doesn't like it, I don't like it. How come he don't like no houses today?
That's exactly how it goes.
Right. Just making sure, you always bring your top best every single day. And I like the fact that you said meditation, because, again, starting off in January, talking about the mind, and even though this is finances, but they all go together. Keeping that healthy mental attitude together, Marine Corps right there, keeping it together. Just, it means so much of awareness to you and others. So I was going to say, you're hitting on your circle of influence, and how does that kind of help you keep with your positivity, your support, and encouraging other people? Because we are who we surround ourselves with.
Yeah, I tell you, I had to do a lot of cutting, over the years, and just kind of really, really realize, who was in my corner. And also, you hear it all the time. People say your network is your network. And that's not just talking about finances. That's also talking about character and people pouring into you. And I always believe the old adage. When I was in the Marine Corps, I was in supply, and we had this thing called garbage in, garbage out. And the same thing for your mind, right? If you get garbage in, you're going to get garbage out. And it's all about your mind, and it's about positive energy. Like you were just saying, Joelle, that positive energy is everything. If I show up to a sale or dealing with a buyer and my energy is off, it's over.
It's over.
Energy is real.
Energy is real. And especially what you do, sometimes you only get one time to make a first impression. You're meeting them and they're like, why do we really want to work with him or her? Because your energy doesn't seem right. You don't seem enthusiastic when you open the door. Why would I be enthusiastic to be here? So yes, definitely making sure all of those things are in line with what you want to do. So one of my favorite topics too is how to negotiate. So again, I gotta let them know, to be number one, you gotta be good at negotiation. This just is, oh, you want to buy this house? Oh, I'm selling it. Yay, shake hands. No, 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 no. You need to be good at negotiation. So explain that to our gems. What are some of your key tips when it comes to negotiations, and how do you, again, keeping that healthy mindset from both sides so that you all can come to a common agreement?
Well, I tell you what, in the beginning, I had a lot of failures because in real estate, there's a lot of loopholes, a lot of things, a lot of pits that you can fall into if you don't know what you're doing and you're
Right.
not well read. So, I try to be well read. Again, it goes back to reading and experience and making those mistakes because if you're a rookie in sales, those other people that are veterans like myself now, they're going to take advantage of you. And everyone wants to advocate on behalf of their seller or advocate on behalf of their buyer. But the smarter you are, the more savvy you're going to be for your client. So I'll tell everybody, before you buy a house, make sure you're looking up some reviews on Zillow or something, because if you're dealing with somebody that's been in the business maybe 6 months or a year, or even some people that's been in the business 10 years, they might only have 5 sales, which means they don't have a whole lot of experience.
Right.
So you want to make sure you're dealing with somebody with some experience, and that's really going to help you with your negotiation. Because if you don't have a master negotiator when it comes to this, and you're spending $250,000 to $500,000,
Right.
you can lose a lot of money along the way. So.
Right, a ton of money. And you kind of hit it too. When you're building those partnerships, like these are partnerships, like even on your side, you may see that realtor again, down the line when you're negotiating again. So how you treat someone day one can still trickle down how you treat someone next year, 2 years from now. So making sure that you do the best for your customer, and that they walk away too with a little bit of something. Everyone wants to have a smile on their face. You don't ever want anyone to be bitter or think, Maurice,
Right.
So
And that leads me to another thing. You never, and I tend to help both sides, because you never know the person that you're working with on the other side. They may use you one day as well. You never want either party to walk away feeling like they got messed over, right?
Absolutely.
They're taking care of, whether it's a repair that you might have to make, you might have to buy a washer or a dryer or something, but customer service is everything in this business. And if you're stingy or cheap and you don't want to take care of people, they're not going to take care of you in the long run.
They're not going to take care. And I tell people they will remember you.
Yeah.
It's up to you on how they're going to remember you. They can never remember you in a positive light, or they can remember you in a negative light. But regardless, you will be remembered. Make sure you're on the positive side of everything. And you kind of led into my next point too, on how to face failure, because not every house that we want is going to be ours. It just is what it is. I always tell people, for me, I don't fall in love with a house until I have the key. Like, I need to have the key. Before that, you're going to go into these pitfalls. So kind of, how do you get your mental health together and your customers together for navigating those type of failures?
Well, that is one of the first things. I'm glad you mentioned this, because that's one of the first things I tell people, whether it's a Zoom interview or whether I meet them at the first house that I'm showing them, is do not fall in love with your first house, especially out here in California, even in this market here in the United States right now, because you might have to make 10 or 15 offers before you get one accepted, right? So you're gonna face failure for the most part in this business. If you get your first house, consider yourself lucky in this market, but you're gonna face failure. You just got to keep going and just realize your house is out there, and that's just not the house for you, right? So that's pretty much how I do it. I just prep them for it. I let them know in advance, hey, we might not get the first one, but let's take a shot at 4 or 5 of them. As long as you love them, then we're gonna take a shot at them. And that's kind of how we do it. We make massive offers on a bunch of properties at one time.
And I like it because you're teaching them how to have healthy coping skills.
Yeah.
And you're teaching them that they're in the process with you. You may not get the first one, but you're teaching them it's okay. You're kind of soothing them and helping them go through these losses, because they're huge. They're losses. Like, I don't think people realize, a lot of people grieve over that first house that they couldn't get. And often, you'll know more than I will, sometimes people say, I don't want to look at another house for a little bit. Maybe right now it's not the type. maybe not right now is the right time. And that's for you to say, nope, keep going.
Stay the course.
It's not a one-stop shop. We all got the first thing we wanted in life. Who knows? I might have been an astronaut. We don't know.
Exactly.
But we definitely wouldn't probably be where we are now. But we had to kind of accept some of that loss and failure. And you're teaching them also to learn to pivot, right? Learn to pivot and fall in love with something else again. Your first love may not be your last love, and it's okay. Love is for you out there concerning real estate. It's not a relationship series, but for your real estate. And another thing too, how to manage their time, because you're looking at all of these houses, you're doing all of these stuff, and hey, you got to keep them moving. So time management, I know, is definitely has to be like a key thing for you. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Okay, so when I'm doing my Zoom videos, or I meet them at the first property, I let them know, hey, look, depending on the size of the house, for the most part, we got about 15 minutes in each house, and I probably can see maybe 2 houses an hour out here in California. And I let them know, hey, it's very strict that we stay on this timeline, because if we're not on this timeline, there are sellers that are in their house that are waiting on you to come see it. So we have to stay on track, because if we don't stay on track, we can't see those houses. So just a quick brief. Right before we see all the houses for the day. Typically in a day, I might see 7 to 8 homes, and that's probably going to take me 2.5 to 3 hours. So they know well in advance before we walk in the house how much time they have, and that's plenty of time. 15 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes is plenty of time, and you're setting them specific goals, and I like that. I'm always tell me what I need to know, up front, so I know what to expect moving forward. So you're setting those goals for them, the mindset, getting over failures, and time management. You're not going to spend 10 minutes in the kitchen and redecorating in your mind. We got to keep it going. We got
things to do.
You got things to do. Take pictures, take notes, and keep it going. And do you have them do like a to-do list, a priority list when they're in and out the houses, so they can say, as soon as they leave this one, this is what we like, this is what we didn't, so that everyone can stay on board?
So before we even get out there, they have a to-do list, and I set them up with a bunch of homes. They have the option to love it, or click on those little heart, or they have the option to kind of like it. That's a light bulb, and they can throw it in the trash receptacle, right? So before we even go out there, they've already went through mentally on their wish list exactly what they're looking for, and that makes the search a whole lot easier, because no realtor or anybody, some people like to window shop. But time is money, and time is very valuable. So typically the houses they're going to, there's a limited amount of them anyway. Typically the ones they're going to, they're probably going to make an offer on it, because we prepped them in advance.
Yep, you prepped them in advance, and now you're not seeing, like you said, you're not seeing your top 12. You might be seeing your top 3, and this is what I want, this is what I like, boom, boom, boom. So when you get there, again, you're not wasting your time.
Exactly.
And wasting your time always, to me, navigates into how to invest your money properly, because you're seeing these houses are $500,000, and in California, they're more. You're almost could be reaching into the multi-million-dollar market. So being able to invest your money properly, could talk to us a little bit about that too as well.
Are you saying investing into real estate, or investing on my side after I get commissions and whatnot?
Investing into real estate. So you utilizing, for your clients, what they should be doing before they get to the steps. So utilizing your employer sponsored retirement plan to the max, setting them up for the things they should be doing financially
prior to the purchase.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah, you definitely want to make sure that you got that credit score together, right? I mean, I tell people all the time, 620 is borrower friendly. Your debt to income ratio, you want to make sure that that's taken care of. What I mean by that is, veterans debt to income ratio could be up to 70%. If you're a civilian, on the civilian side, it could be up to 40%. So I tell people, if you're even thinking about buying a house, give me a call, and I'll have some people do that for you and make the job a lot easier for you as far as prep to buy that home. Because many times we think we know what we're doing. And, I like to give it to the experts, because they're going to work for you for free, essentially,
right?
Especially if you're going to use them in the future. So yeah, you want to make sure you check with the professionals and have them get a snapshot of your profile. And once they get a snapshot of your profile, they'll tell you exactly what you need to do. But credit and debt to income ratio are the biggest things. And also making sure that you have a specific amount of money in the bank, prior to buying that house.
Absolutely. Yeah. And for that ratio too, what is like a good percentage that they should have in the bank for anyone before they start, thinking I want to purchase a home?
Okay, so if they're doing a conventional loan, on a conventional loan, that's about 20% down, right? So, if you want to buy $100,000 house, you're going to need $20,000. If you're talking about a FHA loan, they're going to need 3.5% down. And if it's a VA loan, they don't need any money down.
Right.
So it really depends on which loan they're going for. And there's several different loans out there that people can utilize. I know out here we have CalHFA, and different states have different loans. So it would depend on, what exactly they're looking for. I'm a fan of not coming in with any money at all.
Right.
So,
Zero down is
zero down.
too.
Yeah, zero down. I'm okay with zero down. But yeah, I mean, make sure you have that money for that earnest money deposit, because people are going to need collateral. So I would say at least $3,000 to $5,000. You're also going to have a home inspection. That might be $400 or $500. So I think a healthy $6,000 in your account, if you're coming in with no money down, a healthy $6,000 in your account will get it.
Absolutely. And I'm just going to hit on just real quick about how to get the $6,000 in their account. So when they come to you, they're definitely utilizing all of their resources and their investments. So making sure that they have at least 3 to 6 months of income saved for emergency. So you have your 6 months for the house, but you also need to make sure we take care of your emergencies and take care of everything else that you have going on. You hit it on the nail on the head when you said doing a budget. They need to sit down and kind of do a budget as well, and to make sure this makes sense. Because someone on paper, I find out, a lot of stuff looks great on paper, but doesn't really make sense in theory. Is this exactly what you're doing in day-to-day life? Because I feel like, just for me, people put stuff down on paper, but then they're like, well, we may have ate out a little bit more over there, and we snuck in an extra trip. And I'm like, so that is not really $6,000 right there. You were making like 4,500. Right. So, having that honesty again to say, hey, is this what it is? Because you don't want to jump to these huge investments and then feel, the pinch of, what did I do? Another one of those things, and you talked about it, is speaking with a financial expert, someone who's really going to sit down there and thumb through those things with you to say, hey, this is what you're doing well, and this is where we can make improvements and do some challengings on. I am going to go back because I want people to know how to find their passion, be impactful, and do what it is that they want to find in life. So how did that work out for you?
Well, how did I find my passion?
How did you find your passion? How did real estate kind of fall into your lap?
So in order to find my passion, I faced my fear, right? I was very scared of, I was a recruiter for the Marine Corps. I was very scared to go on that duty. I didn't like to talk to people. I was an internal thinker. I didn't like to talk to people. And I knew that would force me out of my box. I also taught at a couple of universities. I taught at the Marine Corps University, National University, University of Phoenix, and I was very scared to teach and get in front of people. And that forced me out of my box on the sales side and also the education side. And I didn't realize when I faced my fears, I was the best at it. So when I went on recruiting duty, I was recruited a year, 2 years in a row. I went to the education, to teach at universities. I was instructor of the year, 2 years in a row. And those were things that I was scared of doing. So I tell people to anything that you're scared of doing, I don't care if it's fighting, whatever it is, go try to do it and see if you're good at it, because you might be the best at it. So what I did is I had to face my fears and really figure out who I am. And once I figured that out, everything else fell in place.
I love that, facing your fears, because that's one thing I never knew about you. I was like, of course he's good at public speaking. That's what you do. Right. And like you said, you never know, the different fears that people have that we're just not facing. But when you face them, you'll be surprised just how well you are and how successful you could become. Because I'm like, what do you mean? That's crazy. That's good for me. I would have never, ever guessed that. So congratulations for facing those fears. And not just once or twice. You didn't just do recruiting. You didn't just be an instructor. You kept going. And then you picked the one field where you're talking every single day to different people. That's your career. And so being able to turn that into a passion, when did you know that real estate was for you?
So I had a couple of people reach out to me. I was stationed in Japan, and I had just finished up my MBA. And people were saying, hey, man, I think you'll be really good at real estate. And I said, I don't want to do real estate. I already have an MBA. I'm fine. Everything's good. And so I was listening to a podcast. I think I forgot the guy's name. I was listening to a podcast, and a guy said, everyone should have a real estate license. I said, you know what? I just paid a guy to buy my house. Maybe it's something I should look into. So I ran into a buddy of mine out here that was very successful at it. And he showed me what he made. And I was like, I'm in. And
Right.
that was it, so, and then I actually liked it. I enjoyed it, because now I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy educating people, and it just kind of fit into what I like to do. I like to be outside, and I like to move around, so it just kind of fit into who I am, and it's kind of in my DNA, so once I realized that, it was just from there I just kept going.
I like it. And what I heard you say is like being able to listen and being able to just turn what it is you want into an ultimate passion and a success. So being able to listen, being aware of your tone, your facial expressions,
Yeah.
and your body language, all those things that I know you learn at the Marine Corps Academy and as being an instructor, because people are always watching you in real estate. I know I watch people, especially, in finances, when you say something and they're like, that's for you to say, okay, let me take a step back. What are your thoughts? Right. And so with you and your listening skills, are you finding that to be kind of sort of the same thing when it comes to real estate as well? Being able to either read your customer or your client, or just kind of walk them through it. Because sometimes you may get someone who's a little quiet and they're just looking, and they're all in the head. And being able to pull it out and be like, well, it's okay if you don't like the orange wall. We can change that.
Yeah, this is a thinking man's game. You always have to be thinking all the time. And I learned something in college. This had to be about 20 years ago that stuck with me. It was called slick listening, right? SLIC. So the S is for sight in, meaning focus, right? Look at the person, be inviting, smile, right? And you have to concentrate and listen, right? Really listen, because if they're saying something and you're offering something else, you're going to turn that person off. So you have to, that's the most important skill in sales, is listening. People think it's about talking. It has nothing to do with talking. It's very little about, it's about 20% talking. The rest is listening and your body language, in my opinion, right? Listening that's key. That is key. I train my agents on listening all the time, and I beat them up all the time whenever I say something and they're off and they're going to something else. Well, I also can show you this. Well, the client didn't ask for that. The client wants it, right? So
I like it.
Yeah.
And I know there's 3 things that you also are helping your clients with. Explain the 3 types of taxes, your OPP.
Oh,
OPP. I like it. Okay. That's right.
Okay, so OPP is not what you think it is, right?
It's not what y'all think it is. Y'all get your minds out together. Y'all come back.
Right. So you have 3 types of income. You have ordinary income. Some people call that earned income. I mean, that's when you go work for a job and you receive wages, right? That's the highest taxed income in the United States. And then you have portfolio income. That's money that you might get from a stock, a bond, real estate, capital gains. Those are taxed typically at about 15 to 20%. And then you have what you call passive income. I'm a fan of passive income. Passive income is when you have rental properties, or you're renting out commercial property or something like that, because that's taxed at 0%. And you also get to write off the 3 Ds. You get to write off the depreciation of it, right? And it's also tax deferrable, right? So it's depreciable, deferrable, and deductible, right? Tax deductible. So with those 3 Ds, that's why, a lot of people will say, man, Donald Trump only paid $750 in taxes. Why doesn't Robert Kiyosaki pay any taxes? Well, the reason they don't pay taxes is because they own, 2,000 houses, 3 golf courses, 4 hotels. They own all this stuff, and they're writing off the depreciation. And the more depreciation you write off, the less taxes that you pay. So that's why I'm a fan of passive income.
I love it. And I hope they kind of caught on to that, because those are definitely really, really good tips and advice that you gave right there. And I want to kind of, towards the end here, talk to us a little bit about buyer's remorse. And what can we do to negate that? You and I've talked about it, when it comes to traffic, when it comes to how the neighborhood is. Now you got the house that you thought was your dream house, and now it's noisy. So how do you kind of walk your customers through that buyer's remorse as well?
Okay, so yeah, when I'm doing my meeting, like we're doing today, I'll normally tell them, hey, we want to make sure that we buy, pretty close to a freeway, but not so close to where it's super noisy. You want to make sure you check that neighborhood out that you're moving in, morning, afternoon, and night, to see who your neighbors are. What's going on in this neighborhood. Right. You also want to make sure you're staying within your budget, because many people go outside of their budget and they buy too much house, and and remember, if you buy a big house, you're going to be the one that's got to put the furniture in it, right? You got to furnish this place. That's more money out of your pocket. right? So you want to think about, can I rent this place out? Is there a military base or a hospital installation, or maybe an Amazon in this area where there's a high amount of renters, right? So you want to think about all these things prior to purchasing, or you're going to have exactly what Joel said, buyer's remorse.
Buyer's remorse.
Yeah, so that's what I briefed them on prior to them purchasing the property.
I love that. Buyer's remorse is real, guys. It's real, gems. You don't want to have this house and then Maurice is giving you your welcome basket and you're like, I don't like, they have motorcycles and kids is everywhere. Nope, too late. We need to do that beforehand. So Maurice, you're phenomenal. How can people get in contact with you? What is the best way for them to get in contact with you?
Well, two different ways. I'm old school. So my phone number is 760-207-8719. 760-207-8719. And you can contact me via email at maurice2watkins@gmail.com.
Absolutely. You guys will see it on the screen. Make sure you reach out to him. And no, just because you're not in California doesn't mean he cannot help you, because he can. Remember, he gives advice, he gives tips, he gives guidance, and he'll walk you through maybe some things that your realtor is kind of leaving off the plate because maybe he or she's a little bit too new. So definitely reach out to him. So for Maurice, is one thing I want all of my guests to do, and because I love providing inspiration. So what is one good inspirational quote that you can provide for us today?
I will tell people to try not to be a person of success, but instead become a person of value.
I like that. What does that mean to you?
So in other words, what I'm saying is if you're valuable, the success is going to come no matter what. Make yourself valuable and the success is going to be there. You just have to have the discipline to go out and continue to get whatever endeavor that you're going for. I
love it. That's actually a good one. I was just talking about someone about that today, how success will follow you and not the other way around. So great inspirational quote. Maurice, thank you so much for being a guest on my show today and being part of the journey.
No problem. I appreciate the invite.
Absolutely. All right, gems. Creating healthy financial habits is a lifelong commitment. Remember, without change, there be no butterflies. You guys know that's one of my favorite quotes. Every time we see a butterfly, we know some type of change has happened. Changing habits, changing lives, and changing futures are all up to you. Until next time, gems, take care.
See you later.